Primal Season 2, Episode 5, The Primal Theory. I think there's more going on here than everybody thinks. So thank you for watching the video. This is about that show Primal on Adult Swim on Cartoon Network. I've been a big fan of the show since 2019. I think it's becoming a real big hit out there, and by now we're into episode 15 out of 20. And so what I like about this show is it's got a great visual style, but also a lot of great storytelling visually with no dialogue. So the creator behind this is Genndy and I was turned on to him by watching Samurai Jack, and I watched a little bit of Symbiotic Titan, some of the Star Wars saga, but I was never really into Dexter's Lab. But I just love the way that he tells a story very visually. And so that's some of the points I want to try to make when we start talking about the episode. I think that blew everybody's mind as well as mine was the newest episode, The Primal Theory. So there's a couple of things that I noticed in this because I couldn't believe it. There's never been a story I've read or written that ever in the beginning of the third act would have a brand new set of characters that have nothing to do with the story. So knowing Genndy, I tried to really look at this from a visual standpoint, and I have a couple of theories about what's going on here. Now, the first one I think everybody agrees with, and I hear a lot out there, is that this bad guy is actually Spear. I don't know how, but there's a lot of commonalities. So here's Spear in one of his regular cool Neanderthal, I'm going to kill everybody pose. And if we look at the bad guy, he just looks exactly like Spear. He's built like him. Obviously, his face is a little different. But so another trait I notice here is this scene where he's suspended in the air by reaching out his arms and legs. And so he's preying on them or waiting up here. So in the very first episode ever of Primal, this is when Spear was hiding from the pterodactyl when he came back from his fishing trip. So very similar. So now here's another theory that I think people might not agree with, but theory number 2 is a big one, is that I believe that Fang is in this episode. So let me give you a couple of reasons why. I'll start off and go more towards the end with some more ideas. But in this scene here, something banged on the ceiling up there so hard that it caused dirt and dust to come down. Now, this is like one of those old Victorian mansions. These things are solid. I don't think Spear 250 could do that. Maybe something bigger. So what happened is they send this poor guy up there, I don't know, Benson or whatever. The guy probably works part-time dealing with these obnoxious people and just wants to live a chill life. He seems pretty helpful, but they hear like a window break, so he thinks it might be, a bolt of lightning, so they send him up, and then they hear more commotion, so they end up going upstairs to the room, and then here is the poor guy getting eaten by the thing, right? So he spots them, and so this goes back to the Fang theory. So he chases them out of the room. They never even go into this room. So Fang could very well be in there off to the side, and no one ever know in the story, right? Because they didn't even get an opportunity. So I'll get back to more about my Fang theory, but the third one is that this thing came to get Charles, and there's plenty of examples in this where this thing deliberately goes after Charles more than any of the other people. So the first instance, the first attempt is when they're in the hall and he jumps down, and now he's trying to land right on Charles, who was a terrible shot, but he just swats away everybody else. And then he knows he's got guns, so he uses this guy as a shield. But then right in that same scene is attempt number 2, where he throws the guy at them and then chases right after Charles again. Dodging his bullets, he's going after Charles specifically. It's not until this guy pegs him off that he stops. So now the third attempt, and the most convincing for me, is that he has this guy right where he wants him. This is at the end of the show, and he could easily tear his throat out, but nope. That's not what he came here for. He came here for this guy, and I'm not sure why, but he is definitely looking to feast on this guy's heart specifically, and I'm not sure why Charles Darwin. I think chronologically it's a mistake anyway, but for some reason, the whole primal theory, I think it's more than just a lesson on evolution. I think there's some reason why they came back. So another reason about the Fang theory, I just wanted to continue on why I think that she is definitely in this episode, and we just can't see her. And hopefully, maybe later on, they'll do some flashbacks or something will happen where we're going to see it from the other side. All right, so starting from, the first piece of evidence for me is the weight on the ceiling that would thump and cause that kind of disturbance. And then this scene, when you notice, everybody probably saw this, when they're running down these halls, and they lock themselves in the room. There's no blood on the walls here, and there's no blood on the walls here. And now this scene, when something's banging on these so hard that it's going to move all that furniture, and if you notice, 3 seconds, literally 3 seconds, and now Spear is on the other side of the window, something a lot bigger is outside trying to get in, right? And there's no way he could have gotten out there that fast. That's just my opinion on it. So then when they try to leave, everybody probably noticed this too, is now the walls are covered with blood. I don't think Spear, what we've seen so far, wouldn't make that kind of a mess, but I know somebody that would. Yep, a little bit of that. Poor Mrs. Kensington, or whatever her name was, she probably didn't stand a chance. But anyways, that's kind of my theory too on what's going on. So how did she get there? So when we look at this act of something hitting the ground so hard, a 15,000-pound dinosaur would probably do that. So this is what I believe might be happening. In the future episode, they kidnap them, the witches, and they put them in these trances, and then while the dinosaur is in this trance, she draws one of these funky circles, like maybe one that's big enough for them. And I know a lot of people think that this might be a metaphorical thing, but I think these are like actual portals. So see how she jumps through? If she's riding on the back of Fang, it would be definitely enough weight to make that kind of disturbance. So now I got one more. I'm kind of reaching here, I think, but when this very end of the episode, lightning might have hit this tree and it fallen through, but Fang always tries to help out Spear. So here's the last episode where Fang's coming and she knocks something out of the tree. So there's my theories on the episode. I'm definitely looking forward to next week, so we can see some more of this. Thanks for watching.